All right, well, this is what we got going today. It's Sunday, but I'm trying to get some stuff done, and I need this done for this week. So, as you can see, I've got kind of this weird looking little pattern traced out, and David just dropped this off. He machined me out. I went and bought a piece of, this is 2.5 inch, just hot roll. It's gonna be drugged through the ground, it's gonna wear. I almost did cold rolled, but they didn't have it. I didn't want to wait on ordering it. So he made me this, drilled a 3/8 hole, and me and Corey have been using a chain loop. And then he made the bullet in, but basically I'm going to weld that on the end of it. And then I have this little pin grabber here that fits something. Don't look at that. And I had that piece of plate. Yes, the bolt holes are a little close to the edge, but it's a scrap piece of plate that I had. And I'm gonna drop bolts in there today and bolt it all up, and then I'm just gonna weld the bolts, try to give a little more strength to that thin area on the outside of that plate. But this is, I don't know, fairly thick. I think 3/4 AR400 or AR500, so it's pretty tough. The bad thing is that's just grade 50 plate, but I'm gonna gusset kind of up here on the edge. But this is just a scrap piece. As you can see, it looks like a thumb. That's because back in the day when I had my 50, my deer 50, I had a 50G, I made me a thumb because I wanted a particular style, and that's kind of what I wanted at the time because I was doing a bunch of rock walls. Well, since then, I'd rather have it, you know, kind of like my tag. I'd kind of like it like this, but I want a piece of tubing sticking out here, you know, basically cut the, and I may do it to this thumb. It depends on if I keep this machine or not. I may end up getting a 55, but I've thought about cutting this maybe in here and then put a piece of big tubing through here and have it stick out maybe 24 inches so it's as wide as my bucket, and then reattach the teeth, and then maybe put a couple more teeth on to go in between the bucket teeth. But anyways, that's a whole other video. But let's see, let me plug in the power, get you guys on the thing, and I'll let you watch me cut this up. There we go. And I've got my burn bar there. Got a piece of sacrificial wood down there to catch it so we don't like go a hole into my concrete. I don't know if I've got my tip adjusted right. That kind of scares me because I think those bottles might have been turned on. I don't think I turned them on yet. They're still full. Maybe I already turned it on. There you go. I'll let that cool down a little bit. Now I'm gonna clean it up with the grinder. I'll get this stuff unbolted. I may go ahead, I don't know, I might go ahead while I got the torch. I'm gonna cut this. I might cut what I think might be usable pieces. You know, if I can get like a piece of flat bar out of that, maybe nip that bigger piece. Maybe cut, you know, across here, get some flat bar. Just some smaller stuff just to get it minimalized, and I'll get rid of the rest. It's just hard for me to get rid of something that's that expensive and I don't get it all the time. I've got a couple pieces of T1 back there, some tool steel, and it's about as thick, but this was a piece, like I said, off that other thumb. And I've got these teeth that are cut out. I've got them back here, but anyways, this will kind of give you an idea, I guess, if I can get it not burning myself. But that's what we're making right there. So anyways, let me get this stuff kind of sectioned off. I'll let that cool down. All right, well, I got a little pre-work done. I've got this tacked underneath the other side, and I've got this beveled out nice. I've got my little makeshift table thing clamped down. We're gonna burn this in. I've got it clamped over here with blocking underneath it, and I've got this clamped down, so we're gonna burn that and just let it sit and get cool to the touch. So we're using my new Vulcan helmet, hood, whatever. I'm kind of liking it. All right, now we'll just let that sit there, and we're gonna make 2 more passes on it. I'm gonna flip it, weld the other side after this cools down. It's too late now, but it wouldn't have hurted. It wouldn't have hurt anything if I would have shoved that way. But we're gonna weld a belly here to kind of give it a transition. I wish David would have tapered that a little further back, but I wanted to make sure I could get a bolt and a wrench in there, but I could have went that way. I didn't notice that. I could have went that way another 1/2 inch at least. But me and Corey have been using chain loops. Ooh, that's nice. That's got some heat to it. So that's nice that we're getting penetration. This is a 2.5 inch hot roll. I mean, that's a big piece of material. This is, I think this is 5/8 or 3/4 AR400, or no, AR500. Actually is what that was, because they didn't charge me anymore to go to 500. After I'm done with it, I might just take the grinder. I'm gonna sharpen this edge. I may clean this edge up a little bit because it's got a little bit of wave to it because I torch it, I torch cut it. But anyways, yeah, it's got some heat in it. So let's let that cool down to where it's cool to the touch. That way we can unclamp it. I'll flip it, burn the other side into the, where I had it beveled, and then we'll let it cool down. and then I'll probably burn the other side. We'll go ahead and I'm going to put a fillet weld onto the bullet, and then we'll lay one on the blade, you know, from that weld to the blade. And normally I welded one for Corey, I don't know, it's been years now, and he hasn't brought it back to me. It's still on there. So anyways, give it a minute to cool and we'll be back. All right, other side. There's what welding the bullet on. Not bad. I know I'm saying so myself, but anyways, I need to get some more anti-spatter spray, but that stuff freezes, and then when it freezes, it does something weird in the can. My shop's not heated, so it froze. But anyways, that ought to hold on. I've got a rip pass with a bevel on the blade. I almost grooved the bullet, but I wasn't super worried about it. It's actually colored. I mean, you can see it's smoking off my glove when I touch that bullet, so I've got some heat into that bullet. Okay, I've got that about as close as I think I can get it. Get our ground on. I'm gonna tack it everywhere, leave the magnets on it, and let it sit and cool. So get your way for a minute. There we go. Now we're gonna have it back. All right, we'll just let that sit a little bit. Not that anything is, oh, I guess I can't do that. I pulled my little level out, and I never can use this because it doesn't have a level going this way. It seems like I always need it that way. But I mean, I guess I can use it like that. Not that anything here is level, but the center of that plate has this plate here has a bulge in it. When they welded it, it pulled the plate that way. So me bolting it down tight has created a bow in the middle of that, but at least, you know, checking the blade like so, it's in the realm of being level, but you know, this has rubber bumpers on the side, so it's not really here. It's in the realm. It doesn't have to, we're not building a rocket ship. So I think I'm gonna leave the magnets on there. They're not crazy strong, they're Chinese knockoff something, but at least it'll keep it parallel. I mean, I can touch those. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and weld here, and then I can move the magnets down because they're notched out so you can clear the weld. So I think I'm gonna do that, and then I'll work the magnets this way. So let's do that. All right, this is where we're at. I can touch all this. Went in and ate lunch, let it cool down. Everything's nice and cool. I mean, it's got some warmth to it still. But anyways, I got both sides welded. I'm half tempted just to leave those. I wouldn't think I'd have any issues out of it, but I cut that little shark's fin off, and look at that. Like, that's so close that that'll work out really good. So I'm gonna clean that up. It's got some curve to it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a little curve to it. It was cut out with a big plasma table, or maybe a torch table. I thought it was plasma, but it's got quite a bit of curve to it, which is kind of odd. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna make that a little shark tail, so I'm gonna bolt this down. We'll get this cleaned up, or I'll throw it in the vise. I'm gonna get that cleaned up, but that'll fit really nice. So perfect placement. So let me get that cleaned up, and we'll get that set up there. I'll get it beveled and everything. I just think that that'll give it some rigidity, I guess, pulling this thing through the ground. I think it's gonna help keep it from, you know, bending this plate, maybe having more surface area welded to the plate. I should have thought about it and cut the blade out like that, but and that ought to be high enough that I don't think it's really gonna change the way we're gonna plow through the ground. You don't really turn a whole lot with these. Some of them are turbo blades. I think the back side of the blade is actually cut out, and we may end up doing that. I might end up taking a little bit of this blade out the back and make it match that curve maybe, you know, and just kind of have it like that. This may be too thick without having a vibrator to actually turn in the ground. And you can't turn much, but you can turn a little bit and do like a real wide sweeping turn. So anyways, let me get that cleaned up real quick, and I'll get you back on the tripod, and I'll show you guys welding that on. As I said, this isn't really a welding channel. I just figured I'd show you steps of the way I did this, and then I'll go back and grab some chain, and we'll put I'm sure I've got a bolt. I didn't check on that, I guess. And we'll make our little chain loop, and this thing will be ready to try out. Like I said, I don't know if I want to put my gusset on there. I think that's going to be strong enough. I've got a rip pass and 2 other cover passes on it. I would think that would be strong enough without having gussets on the side. Anyways, let's do it. All right, well, that might look crazy, but I just took a piece of 1/2-inch flat bar, that's some plate that I had cut out, and I clamped it to the blade, and then I clamped our tail to it, so that way it ought to be fairly parallel through there. So let's get it tacked up, and maybe it won't move a lot. because it was acting like I was running out of gas here at the end, but I think the wind's blowing here in the shop. So all right guys, well, there you go. All I've got to do is my chain loop. I'll show you that when we've got the machine out there and stuff. But there is a irrigation pull blade for a mini excavator. We're gonna see if that works. I hope it works. It'll work out pretty good for us. So anyways, all right guys, I think that's about it. We're gonna get a little bit of a icy weld on you guys. He cleans up his weld spatter and stuff in the welds a lot with this scaler. big old storm rolling in. All right, guys. Well, I think that's done and ready, except I'm gonna switch out my wheel because obviously my flap wheel is about done. Probably hitting that hot stuff. I like how that needle scaler textured up my welds. I think that'll grab some paint a little better because I'm gonna paint it. I don't know. I'll get my edge cut into this, and then I don't know. It's probably gonna be John Deere gray. Yep, it'll be John Deere gray. That's what it'll be, because that's about all I have. Holy cow! I don't have black or anything. I've got primer and John Deere gray, so it's gonna be John Deere gray. Well, I hope you like this little video. We'll see if it works. It may be a total failure. I have no idea. Me and Corey have both wondered if something like this would work. Your guess is as good as mine. I kind of looked around a little bit. I didn't research it a bunch, looking to see if somebody did it or not. Not a lot of guys put irrigation stuff on there. And I see why, because my irrigation videos really aren't that popular. But something like this is so unique that me and Corey have both found that if we take the mini excavator out, we do more of the irrigation system with it. The only thing we're lacking is the irrigation plow. Now, if this doesn't work, this bolts on, this flange bolts on, I can make a plate to where we bolt that onto the vibratory plow and we could vibe it in. But the mini skid is about 1,000 pounds less weight than the mini excavator. And there's a lot of times that we go ahead and just plow it in with no vibratory. So with the extra 1,000 pounds, a little more breakout force with the excavator being able to pull a little harder than what the mini skid does, I think it's a good possibility this is going to work, but we have no idea. Probably some learning curve, but hopefully we get through it quick. But I've got an irrigation system we're going to do at the end of this coming up week that I'm going to need this. So we'll see what happens. It may work. We may try to end up putting the vibratory plow on the mini excavator. I don't know. We'll find out together. Hang out and watch hang out for the video of us using this, because this is going to at least be attempted to use. But I think it turned out really good. I like the way it looks. I like the shape. Hopefully the angle's good with the pin grabber. I mean, obviously you can turn it and do whatever. I'll show you guys our chain loop when we're out there. You know, I'll go over having the plow on it and all that. But we have got a hell of a storm turning up right now. I mean, there's nothing back behind that. There's a dark rain cloud, but it's blowing so hard. I better hurry up, because we might have something building back behind us. So you guys have a good day. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification button, especially if you're interested in how this works, because that way when I put the next video up of using this at the end of the week, it may not be the end of the week, but it'll be the end of the week for me, you guys can check that out, because I'm awfully interested in how it works. All right, well, thank you guys. Have a good day.